think when I first went into the state legislature, people had a lot of ideas and assumptions about me, specifically because of my identities being more progressive, radical identities. And so going then into that sphere and being from a rural part and being able to talk about agriculture and being able to talk about farm life, and that experience has helped me build bridges. And so in the legislature, and then fundamentally or foundationally, it really made me who I am, right? So when I was little and I showed dairy heifers, the livestock show, like that experience, because I would wake up at 5 in the morning and feed cows and bathe them and train them and play tag with them, taught me responsibility and compassion and how to care for other living things. So when you think about those core values being placed in me when I was, teenager or younger, and now those core values still exist in me, so they help me create policy. So my dad's a Republican and a cowboy, and so we're very, very close. He raised me, obviously, single father since I was 10, and I live next door to him. I mean, we're extremely close. So when I took the oath of office my first year, I asked my dad to sit next to me. So here's my dad, cowboy hat, suspenders, guy, and Rick Perry's speaking, and my dad's so excited. He's like, yes, he stands up and he's clapping for Rick Perry, and I'm like, Dad, sit down, you're embarrassing me, because all the Democrats are sitting down and all the Republicans are standing up. And he's like, no, Mary, stand up, it's Rick Perry, you're embarrassing me. And I'm like, no, Dad, no. So anyways, the whole thing's over. We go downstairs to my office, and the El Paso Times is there to interview me. And they finish interviewing me, and then they leave, and they see my dad, and like, oh, Mr. Gonzalez, can we interview you? And I'm like, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, God. And so the first question the reporter asks is, well, Alfred Gonzalez, rumor has it you're Republican. And my dad gets all like cowboy gruff face, and he's all like, no, that's not a rumor. I'm a proud Republican. And I'm like, oh, my God. But then the reporter continues, and she asks him, well, but Mr. Gonzalez, aren't you proud of your daughter? She's the first female elected in the district. She's the youngest member of the legislature. She's considered a rising star for the Democratic Party. Like, aren't you proud of her? And then he just sadly shakes his head, and he goes, I guess I'm proud of her. But every day I wake up and I ask God why he made her a Democrat. So then the next day on the front page of the El Paso Times is my dad's quote lamenting as to why his daughter is a Democrat. So anyways, Rick Perry reads the quote. His staffer, Senator Armbruster at the time, calls me and says, hey, Mary Edna, is your dad still in town? Because they call me Mary Edna on the House floor. And I'm like, yes, sir, he is. And then they're like, well, the governor wants to see him. So then my dad goes and sees the governor for 2 hours. And the first hour, him and Rick Perry talk about how, a long time ago, Rick Perry was a Democrat, and apparently there's still hope for me to become a Republican, although there's not. And the second thing they talked about was my dairy farming bill, which ended up passing my first session only because the governor helped me. And now my dad takes all credit for that bill passing. So my dad and I have very fun adventures of me being a legislator. I call it the adventures of Alfred and Mary Gonzalez.